Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
Okay, so if we have any other atheists who would like to come up, you're free to raise your hand and welcome to agree, disagree. As long as you're not deceptive or deceitful, you're more than welcome to disagree and tell us we're wrong.
I think it was Elan after me.
Go ahead, Elan.
Hey guys. So I very much appreciate the passion and where you guys are coming from. I just genuinely trying to understand the utility of kind of like the tone in which the words are being held. It seems to me like if you have a certain worldview that you think other people ought to adopt for their own benefit, it seems to me that it would be better to approach it with kindness and compassion, which also seems to be how Jesus kind of conducted himself. So when
Jesus called the Pharisees wolves in sheep's clothing, and by the way, when he called wolves were not considered to be majestic creatures. Okay, they were considered to be inherently dangerous. Okay, so Jesus publicly castigated the reigning religious leaders in various communities in Israel over 3 years. Now, he said that they were ravenous wolves in sheep's clothing. He didn't just say they were wolves, but they were wolves in sheep's clothing. Now, that is an unimaginable negative aspersion. He also referred to them as snakes and vipers. Okay, he referred to them as rotting dead men's bones in whitewashed tombs. Does that sound kind and compassionate to you?
No, it doesn't. And maybe you can educate me on why he said those things. And also,
why? Because they were true, and it was to pierce men's heart.
No,
to produce a conviction of sin.
I don't know anything about the Pharisees, so I guess like
look, we're dealing with a lot of people that are insincere. They're fakes, phonies, and frauds. They're liars. They're deceivers, and we're just simply exposing this. Now, does everybody come up here? Are they a deceiver? Are they prevaricators? No, but we just seem to get a disproportion of them coming up. And so when they do come up and they put that on full display, that's when I issue my aspersions.
Gotcha. I mean, with respect, I just have a disagreement as to my interpretation of at least a couple of the speakers. Like, obviously, a couple of the speakers just wanted to come up and fight with you, but a couple of them seemed sincere in their beliefs.
Like who? Like who?
I wasn't really paying attention to...
Well, you're going to have to give me specificity because many of these people I've dealt with on a recurring basis that you may not be familiar that there's a prior history with them.
I mean, do you want to get to the content of the topic or do you just want to criticize like how we've had the topic? Which is it?
Well, here's an important moment. You know, I'm sharing my beliefs about what I think is a more efficacious way of conducting speech.
We've been doing this for years, dude. We know what we're doing.
That's fine, and I have a differing opinion.
Is your understanding of efficacious a biblical one, or is it something that you have contrived yourself?
I just put one foot in front of the other.
Okay, so it's not a biblical one; it's of your own contrivance. Well, why should I go by? Why should I go by?
I'm not suggesting you do anything.
If we take a look at the prophets in the Old Testament, you know, Jesus himself, O Israel, thou that kills the prophets. Why did they kill so many of the prophets whom God sent to them, the nation of Israel? Was it because the prophets were being charming and lovey-dovey and just telling them warm and fuzzy things and just saying how much oogly-googly God loves them and they need to return to the God who loves them? Or were they speaking the truth with absolute righteous indignation directed by God, and they were so pissed that the prophet would accuse them of the very things they're doing, they killed the prophets? How about Jesus? Jesus proclaimed the Old Testament. He proclaimed the gospel that all men are guilty before God, and no amount of good works is going to save anybody. Okay, and he proclaimed his messiahship, and they killed him. Same thing with the apostles. Okay, I think that you probably don't have an adequate reading of the nature of the Old Testament prophets or the New Testament ones, starting with Jesus, although he's not just a prophet, he's the second person of the Trinity. But, you know, what the apostles is, there's a time and a place where we can try to be cordial and calm, but when we're dealing with people who are in our face, who are persistently lying to us, deceitful, they're being total scumbags in their responses, that I feel I'm going to issue the prerogative that I'm going to call these people out for what they are, and I don't care that they get offended or anyone else does. I'm calling a spade a spade.
Okay, yeah, perfectly well received. I guess in this very instance, do you believe that I've been respectful?
Oh, entirely. I don't have a problem with how you're conducting yourself. I don't quite agree with you, but other than that, I have no problem with you. Okay,
with respect to Ton, why do you suppose he responded to me the way he did?
Well, because he gets tired of people who, you know, want to talk about my demeanor rather than, you know, let's say the bad demeanor of the people that I'm dealing with.
Because I get tired of people who seem to be lecturing us on how to have a conversation, and they don't know what we deal with. They don't seem to know anything about our faith. And then they just come on here and make these criticisms based on stuff that they don't know what they're talking about. And that gets old.
But I'm not here criticizing you guys. I have an opinion about how things should be discussed, and obviously it's just
I'm not calling you names, am I?
No.
I'm not ridiculing that because you're conducting yourself like a man. Okay, and I don't agree with you, but I don't have a problem with how you're carrying yourself. We just disagree. That's all.
But I'm asking
totally. This is just directed towards Khan, who
but I'm asking
to be upset.
No, are you making a judgment about the tonality of our communication?
I was wondering if you
straightforward question, man. Are you making a judgment about the tonality of our communication? Yes or no?
Look, if you're going to force me into yes or no's,
that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. You don't want to answer the question.
So no. But you know,
okay, if you weren't, then why did you bring it up then? I'm wondering.
Okay, are you suggesting that to disagree is to make a judgment?
Okay, you're not answering my question.
Then you're making a judgment about me.
Look, man, if you weren't making an analysis about the tonality of our communication, then why are you even bringing it up at all?
I was making an analysis, correct. You asked me if I was making a judgment.
About how we were communicating in this room with other people. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so in other words, you had a problem with our communication of other people in this room.
I'm not sure I agree with that conclusion, my friend. But
then why did you bring it up if you didn't actually have an issue?
To ask someone where they're coming from, if you believe that to be suggesting that there's an issue, then I just think that there's a lot more nuance.
So did you have an issue with us or not? Simple question.
Did I have an issue? I am. If you're going to ask me to answer with yes or no, then I'm just going to politely thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Let me ask just a quick clarification.
I'll just listen because I got to go to work anyways.
Sure. Are you a Christian?
No.
So then what standard of morality or right and wrong are you using to substantiate your accusation that we've done anything wrong? What are you doing, Matt?
I have not accused you of doing anything wrong, number one.
So you just came up here to share your opinion?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Are you done?
Well, I'm just wondering, it seems to me
I think
you are also upset with me. And I'm wondering why. I mean, Darth, I appreciate the conversation we're having, but it seems like these gentlemen are not conducting themselves in the
I
same
think
way.
we've said, I don't think there's any more that we need to to add, unless you want to
Oh,
change
that's
the
fine.
topic.
I actually have a question
See, I
to take
don't
this a little
mind.
deeper.
I don't mind. I really, contrary to popular opinion, I don't mind if somebody gives what I consider a legitimate criticism that's, not based upon, false information or mischaracterization. I don't agree with your criticism, but it was expressed in a legitimate way. So I think we agree, we don't agree, and we need to move on.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said. So
Elon,
if I may ask, yeah, go ahead.
are you referring more to them not being charitable, or are you trying to pick at something deeper?
Well, whenever I try to get someone to understand my worldview, I just find that it's way more efficacious to deliver it in a very kind, non-antagonistic way.
But your model
I
of
see.
efficaciousness is not the model of efficaciousness in the Bible.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I respect that, and you gave me a great example of that.
Look, when people come up to this public forum and they act like complete horses' asses while pretending to be intellectual, but it's very clear that they're employing deception, evasion, obfuscation, prevarication, and it's demonstrated over and over and over again. I'm going to assault these people for doing that because they're wasting my time, and I think they're deserving of the insult. Am I right?
That's cool. I really respect
am I
that.
right every time I do it? Maybe not, but I feel that many times that I do it, that I'm justified. If other Christians or non-believers feel that I'm being overbearing, well, then so be it. I'm fed up with people coming up here and them wasting my time with just being argumentative little clowns that are 14-year-olds trapped in a 35-year-old man's body, arguing with me like they're at the cafeteria table at lunch hour. I want a real adult interaction. When I tried this approach, right, with professional atheists, like 7 or 8 of them on Discord in AMAs, okay, every single one of them folded. They didn't want their position to be truly scrutinized. They didn't want them. They didn't want to be asked anything. Okay, I could have said to them, well, this is an AMA. Why are you so upset with the line of questioning I'm giving you? But it really wasn't an ask me anything. In other words, ask me anything by these professional atheists. And by the way, you can see it for yourself. Go to Tom Rabbit's channel, Darth Dawkins versus, and there's a number of professional PhDs that came on various Discord venues. And they really don't want to be challenged. What they want to do is they want to be asked questions where they can launch off into a community college lecture. They don't want serious challenge questions, right? Now, if the professional atheists if the professional atheists can't be sincere, okay, when they're inviting people to challenge them and somebody gives them a good, cogent, intelligent, circumspect challenge, and they're like, oh crap, I don't know how my atheist cliches. Look, I'll take one guy. His name is Graham Oppie. He's a renowned atheist author and professor of philosophy in Australia. When I began to challenge his view, I wasn't, you can see on the recording, I wasn't rude, I wasn't obnoxious. He did want to be challenged. He just wanted to sit there and to wax professorial. Well, that's not what these AMA is about. Okay, it's about being asked not just in knowledge questions or what do you think on that, but it's about actually challenging them. Okay, there's other people I could go to. P.Z. Myers, you can listen to that one where he became unhinged. He was pissed that I dared ask him some difficult questions. Massimo Pallucci, professional atheist, 2 PhDs, he got pissed. Lawrence Krauss, atheist physicist, he got pissed. Okay. So you see, it doesn't matter whether we're dealing with professional atheists or a lot of these dirtbags who come in here who pretend like they want to have an adult debate, vigorous debate. No, they're just up here to lie their asses off while pretending they're still in the adult game. Well, it's not going to happen on my watch. They're not being reprimanded or called names because they're just steadfastly disagreeing. They're getting the verbal treatment that they invite.
Yeah, listen, if someone engages in conversation not in good faith, I think it'd be almost ridiculous for you not to call that out and you know, treat it as kind of like a hostile witness.
Okay, so do you want to
So
you
I'm
want to discuss anything else? Because I think we're done with this topic or this thread.
yes. So it seems to me that have you ever heard of Euthyphro's dilemma?
Yes.
Okay. So it seems to me that there's this idea in this room, I think by you and a couple of other people, that unless there's some sort of theistic foundation, everything is bullshit. And I just disagree with that. I used to be of that belief as well.
Okay. So that in order to understand your position, it's helpful to juxtapose that with what you reject and don't believe. So in the Christian worldview, God is that which is fundamental and foundational. He's what is metaphysically first or primary, from which all dependent or temporal states derive. And you say you don't find that acceptable or that it's needed. Well, then, if you're going to invoke actuality and intelligibility for states of affairs that aren't dependent and derivative from God, then I would like to know what it is that is fundamental that does provide for the actuality of any fundamental parameters and provides for the intelligibility. What is it?
Well, I think when you invoke this idea, first of all, I think we would have to define what is meant by God for me to comment on that. But
well, that's easy. God is a mind. Okay, a being that's a mind that is eternal and comes under the category of ultimate, meaning that he's self-contained, absolute, unconditionally non-dependent, and everything else that's not God depends and derives upon God. Okay, so there you have a basic working definition of God that is not exhaustive, all right? So either you believe in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I disagree with that definition.
Okay,
we might be on the same page.
Yeah, we can call that, we could summarize that as the creator-creature distinction, okay? Okay.
Yeah,
now,
that'd be fine.
Okay, so if you think that that's BS, then that means that you are operating from either an explicit or implicit framework, metaphysically, of what grounds everything ontologically and what intelligibility derives from. So, since you don't believe in God as fundamental, what is it that is fundamental that all other contingent states derive and depend from?
Well, I'm not sure that I disagree with the definition you gave. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, can you answer that question I just asked you? Since you don't believe in God as fundamental and metaphysically primary,
well,
what do you believe
the
it is?
definition, I'm saying I agree with it. So,
okay, listen, you don't know. You agree with the definition. That doesn't mean that you accept that God as defined is actually metaphysically the necessary precondition of all facts. Do you believe God is the necessary precondition of all facts that are not himself?
As you defined it, I am probably on board. I think it's a very long discussion.
Okay, well then you are a theist, my friend.
Okay, I mean, you know, these are just words, right? And there's a lot of nuance to it. I think we'd have to engage.
Do you believe in the existence of God as defined?
As you defined it, I can't say that I disagree. Again,
do you believe in God as he has been defined?
Well, Darth, why are you raising your voice with me right now?
Thank you for your time, sir. You're proving my point of people who prevaricate. Okay, bye. Okay. Next.